Doesn't say we're live. Yeah.
No. Oh, here we are.
What is it? Oh, it's gonna take a sec before it actually starts.
There we are. We're all good.
It's live. It's
We're
live.
all good. It's live.
Yeah.
And it's live.
We got there. Sick. Us.
Sweet.
So we're just gonna go from now.
Yeah,
Just
go.
Good evening and welcome to the special Euro 2021, even though Euro 2020 edition of the Mid-Table Out podcast, even though it's 2021. This evening, myself and my two co-hosts are going to be picking our squad, and we're going to play Gareth Southgate and pick our 26-man squad for the European Championships. One man who has plenty of experience pretending to be Gareth Southgate is a man who bought a waistcoat during the 2018 World Cup just to be like his idol. That's George Ellis. How you doing, sir?
Hello, I'm good. Yeah, that was fun, to be fair. I don't regret doing that, even though we did go out in the semi-final. I felt like I got right into the spirit of things with that, to be honest.
Do you still have the waistcoat?
Yeah, I do. I don't think it fits me anymore, though, so I think that should...
You're going to have to crack it out.
Yeah, you're going to have to get ready for the summer.
I'm going to have to lose the best part of like...
You don't have long.
Yeah, I've got to lose a stone and a half in about 2.5 weeks, basically.
And my other co-host got so into the last World Cup, he was abusive to the Swedes and nearly caused an international incident.
Yeah, that's me. Sorry to this poor Swedish man and his missus who decided to go to the pub with us. There was a little bit of me that regrets it, but most of it is kind of like, come on, mate. You come to an England bar in your Swedish shirt, you're gonna get some shit. But it was a good night.
Yeah.
Good day.
For those of you who don't know, that's Matthew Lee, and that's a brief introduction to what he's like. And your final host today is myself, Simon Bartlett, who during the last World Cup on that same day ended up on the bottom of a 10-man pile-up when England scored their first. Your final host today is myself,
Simon
Bartlett.
Bartlett. We thought you'd gone forever into the abyss.
I felt like I was going to die. If I died then, I would have died happy, I think.
Was that the first goal?
It was the first goal. It was Harry Maguire header into the corner. I went over. George fell over. Everyone was on top. I didn't care. I loved every second of it, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, same. The best I've ever felt and nearly been crushed to death.
that is quite some statement from you there.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's the thing. Only a goal in the quarter-final of the World Cup will make you feel that way. So, yeah, there you are.
Yeah, it does feel like 100 million years ago, the 2018 World Cup.
It does a little bit, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. I mean, obviously, 3 years now. We're closer to the next World Cup than we are to the last one. So
yeah, it's going to be a bit of a funny couple of years because you can have the Euros and then we're going to go back to club football and then we're going to have the World Cup.
But it's going to be in December.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So it's going to be the whole thing's like been thrown way out of whack.
Yeah. But next summer there'll be nothing. Well, next summer will be Nations League.
There will be a Nations League at some point.
Yeah. Still time for you to be depressed, George.
I think we're out, aren't we? I don't think we made the finals.
No, we didn't, did we? I don't think. Did we?
So George is
No, yeah, we didn't. Yeah. So
we did it. Yeah, you're right.
So no depressing defeat for me next time round. Then I tell you that.
So on to our squads. How did you guys find being Gareth? Did you find your 26-man squad easy to put together?
You know what? I didn't mind it really. I kind of just looked at, because I suppose you kind of just got to keep an even number of players in terms of you want at least 2 for every position, 3 goalkeepers, of course. But yeah, I mean, maybe I went a little bit light on fullbacks, I think, with mine, which is a little bit weird considering we've got so many. But on the flip side of that, we've got so much attacking midfield talent that I kind of tried to pack as much in there as I could. So I'm quite happy with what I came up with at the end of the day.
Because I think you're right. It goes down to how do you want to balance the squad, and I think that's probably where the biggest difference is.
Do you want a breakdown of how we balanced our squads?
Yeah, go for it.
So, I mean, I'll start with you because you are the most interesting. no less than 10 central midfield players.
Okay.
Two right backs, 2 left backs, 3 goalkeepers, only 4 centre backs, and then 5 attackers.
I'm just going balls deep for it.
So he's gone big on midfielders.
Well,
and I know some of the midfielders can play.
Yeah, it's a bit of a funny one. Like, I think Grealish is in there.
Yeah, Grealish.
But it's like you could. Like, do you tack him as you might be actually he's an attacker, which kind of is, but you could also slot him in midfield. But we've got lots of options in that sort of area.
Yeah.
And I also think it's probably our strongest part of the pitch, that sort of front attacking midfieldish area.
And George, your breakdown, you took two less midfield players, but one more attacker and another centre back. So that's 3 keepers, 5 centre backs, 4 full backs, 8 midfielders, and 6 attackers.
Yeah, I need to get my squad in front of me again.
So I went down your route, George, of saying so it's two for every position, but and then 3 keepers, and then I assigned the extra 3 spots: 1 defender, 1 midfielder, 1 attacker.
Right.
To give myself 7 attackers, 5 centre backs, 3 keepers, 4 full backs, and 7 midfield players.
Okay, so that's an interesting way of approaching it. I think probably a sensible way of approaching it as well. So how do we want to get into this then, Simon?
So what I was gonna do it is start from the keepers, and where there's 3 picks all agreed, they're straight in.
Yeah, I thought that would be the case, to be fair.
And then we'll thrash out the rest. So do you want to take, before we start, a prediction of how many agreed names there are on this list?
So there's 26 players.
26-man squad.
I think, how many names we all agree on?
Yeah.
I think 15? 10?
No, I think I'd go a bit higher than that. I'd go more like 18, 19, I think. I'd say all 3 of us would have, because I think for the most part, because like starting 11's a bit different, but I think for the most part, I would say the majority of the players almost pick themselves. Like, let's be, we're all going to have Kane in there, aren't we? We're all going to have Phil Foden in there. I am like.
Well, we never know where Matt's going to go with some of his selections.
Yeah, mate, I've got a spine of Mark Noble and Declan Rice.
But so yeah, I think I'll go a bit higher. I think I'll go more, say 18, like 19. I reckon all 3 of our squad.
So you're both wrong. The answer is, in fact, 23.
Oh,
enough to pick a full squad.
So I mean, that's what I was going to say. That I mean, if we're only picking 23, I will ask you who like your 3 kind of bonus choices were, if you will, like who wouldn't have made it if it was only a 23. So let's start with the keepers, and I think this is probably the area of, I mean, there's not much debate in any of the positions, but Dean Henderson, Jordan Pickford, and Nick Pope.
Yeah.
That's it.
As of news, I think Pope's potentially going to be out.
This is what I was going to bring up. So Pope is out injured. Who are you drafting in? Who's the next kind of cab off the rank, as it were?
Keeper at the West Brom keeper. His name is escaping me.
Sam Johnston.
That's it. I think I'd give him a try off the top of my head. If you're going on form, he's been probably one of the few bright things to come out of West Brom season.
Yeah, I would agree with that. To be fair, I also had Aaron Ramsdale down, but they've had such a dreadful season that I can't see.
And I don't completely agree with it, but I just want to have an argument. An interesting, because if you're 3rd choice keeper, you're not really going to play. Would it be the worst thing in the world to take someone like, oh my God, his name escapes me. I just had it. It was in my head. Tottenham's 3rd choice keeper,
Joe Hart.
Would it be the worst? He's got experience. He's won a lot of trophies. He's a leader, like it or not. I know he's obviously
good tournament experience for what at the minute is quite a youthful.
He's not going to play
England squad,
because even if Pickford gets injured, we're going to pick Henderson, aren't we?
But I guess then then you're only 1 away from him being in the team. You are.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. I would say on form, because Joe Hart hasn't been playing. I would say on form, Johnston has been better, but also for the future, it might be good for him to get some. Even though he won't play, it might be good for him to get the experience of being at a tournament under his belt, so that then
meeting the lads.
Yeah, I mean,
going
yeah,
to the
how
pod.
old is he though? He's not super young.
No,
I mean, he's not
but-
old, but he's not super young.
Like Sam Johnson.
Yeah, been around a good few years now, because I've seen him play 3 or 4 years ago at Villa when they didn't get promoted. So he's not.
Yeah.
He's like I say, he's not like over the hill by any means, or probably about 26. I want to say around that area.
yeah, so he's still not really near his peak for a goalkeeper.
No.
But yeah, no,
But-
I just think for the future, I just think I stick Johnston in there, because I think he deserves it on the way he's played this season, and B, I think
Yeah.
going forward, let's be in 4 years' time, who's more likely to be going to the next tournament? Is it going to be Joe Hart, or is it going to, like Joe Hart might not even play football in 4 years' time,
Yeah, I don't disagree. He's 28.
28.
He's
There you go.
28.
So
Yeah, so he's not young. I think it's just because he's kind of just come off. But then again, for a keeper,
yeah, I guess that's the thing, and it's obviously his first season in the Premier League. Proper,
Yeah.
right?
yeah.
So I mean, as you say, getting experience for a guy like that. And look, he's a very talented goalkeeper. You look this season, despite the fact West Brom have been absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
He's been excellent. He's a very, very good goalkeeper.
Yeah, it happens all the time. So, yeah, no, I didn't think goalkeepers were going to be.
No, not, and that's why I kind of wanted to kind of get there. And so moving into the fullbacks, so 4 each and 4 agreed. We've got Kyle Walker, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Ben Chilwell, and Luke Shaw on either side.
Would we all go for those 4?
We all went for all
Wow.
of those.
Yeah, I put Alexander in there.
Mate, yeah, I was not expecting that, to be honest with you.
Even though it sounds like Gareth isn't. So the big name in there is no Trippier.
No Trippier, who's just won the league title.
He's just won the league title.
No Reece James, who's got to a Champions League final.
Yeah.
And no Wan-Bissaka again. But he probably was, if you look at that list, probably the lowest
Oh,
down.
yeah, I
Yeah.
wouldn't put Wan-Bissaka in there particularly.
But yeah, I mean, when you look at Trent, I mean, I think back to that last England squad where he didn't get picked, and on form, I kind of agreed with it. I couldn't see he hadn't played well enough, and I think as a young lad, he probably needed a bit of a kick. Going, look, you're not playing well enough. You need to try and refine your levels. And I think since that happened, he's been unbelievably good. That's what you guys think. That to me. I mean,
No,
if I was picking this squad in March, I may not have picked him, but I just think form over the last few months has been excellent.
No, I kind of agree with everything you've just said there, to be honest with you, and like it's no secret that obviously, even though he's picked up over the last 10 games or so for Liverpool, they've really turned it on, and that's how they managed to get that push into third somehow. But he's been a big part of that, and like he will be aware that this has probably been his poorest season since he's emerged at Liverpool. But on the flip side of that, when it just boils down to it, not only is his form picked up now, but there's probably not many more talented in the squad than Trent Alexander-Arnold, let alone at right back. And I just think as we said, we all heard the rumours that Southgate might not pick him. Obviously, we'll find out for sure tomorrow whether that's going to be the case or not. But for a player of that ability, like if you take him out of that Liverpool side, they don't win the Champions League in 2019. They just don't win it. And as the amount of natural talent that he's got, I think maybe other than Foden and Kane, they're probably the only two talented players who might be more talented than him.
I think even when you not even just talent, but you talk about a ceiling of the players. He's got the probably, as you say, behind maybe Foden, behind Kane, the highest ceiling of anyone in that England squad, like of how far he can go. The other thing I was looking at is that kind of that set piece delivery, because look, England probably won't be a side still that are going to dominate the ball, dominate the play. We haven't been that for a long time. You want that to happen, and I hope it does happen. I hope we do start to see more of that. But you get the sense we're still going to be a threat from set pieces. We're going to have the likes of Harry Maguire. We're going to have Harry Kane. So a guy like Trent Alexander-Arnold's ability to deliver is second to none in that as well.
And in a tournament, sometimes it doesn't really matter how you score them. Like, we want to play this lovely, exciting football, but sometimes you just need to whack a ball in the area and get Harry to get his noggin on it. Especially in teams, because some of the teams we will play will set up to just be defensive and try and break us on the counter, because we are England, but they know exactly quality we've got.
That's definitely what Scotland and the Czech Republic will do. Regardless, So set pieces.
I think even Croatia to a certain extent.
Obviously, Modric is a lot older now.
Rakitic
I
is
think when you watch that Champions League semi-final and the way kind of Mason Mount was running all over the pitch in that game, I mean, Modric is not the player we saw even in 2018.
No.
This is a guy whose legs look like they're going. He's 35. Let's be real. He was always going to be there.
I think I also really look forward to seeing him play with such talented ball-playing midfielders. Not to say Liverpool don't have those, but it's not where the strength of their attack is. The strength of their attack is in the wingers. So
I think
he just supported stuff like Mount and Foden in that midfield, they can make stuff happen.
And I think the thing with Alexander-Arnold as well is no matter what people might want to say about him defensively, his opposite number will know, and the opposition will know that if they give him an opportunity, he will put a good ball in, and there will always be that element of wariness, even if we are playing against a team that wants to bomb forward down the wing, they will know that if they keep doing that, Trent will be able to hurt them at the other end if they get complacent with it.
Yeah, and such a strength of us in the previous World Cup was set pieces.
Yeah,
but no one really thinks about it. But we scored a lot of set piece goals, and I think having someone in the squad as talented as him, who could just put it on a sixpence pretty much consistently, is really, really important. So that's why, as much as I do think he's not as good defensively as some of the other options we have at right back. And there might be a game where I try and actually put him in a 3, so play a back 3, and then that way his defensive workload isn't as much, because you don't want him defending really. You want him going forward as much as possible. You want him putting those balls forward. So that would be my only question mark about Alexander-Arnold. But apart from that, I think he starts, especially against teams where we're going to have a lot on the ball.
Yeah.
And then just looking at the other side, Chilwell and Shaw again. I mean, I think it was kind of pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, almost picks itself, doesn't it?
And Luke Shaw, I think, again, another player who, if you'd had to pick it last summer, you say there's absolutely nowhere near this side, but has been in great form. Looks like a new player this season.
Yeah, no, he's completely benefited from the Euros being pushed back a year, because, as you said, he wouldn't have got anywhere near the squad last year, but it's a testament to how well he has turned it around at Man United, and I think he would be first choice for me to play at left back. Just edging it on Chilwell. I just think he's been better than Chilwell.
I picked Chilwell, but disinterestingly, why would you pick Shaw? Yeah, sure.
I just think he's been so good this year, and we were talking about Cross. I think some of his deliveries this year have been unbelievably good. Look, I don't think there's massive amounts between them. If we had to go with Chilwell first game, I'm not going to lose much sleep.
Vice versa. I'm not massively upset with Shaw starts in front of Chilwell. I think Chilwell is a little bit better on the ball.
Yeah.
And I think you could probably pull him into different areas of the pitch. Where I think, but then again, even arguing that, I've seen Shaw do a lot of really good runs and really push into the box like Chilwell does. So it's a bit of a conundrum. I don't really have the right answer to it.
Which is good, because you look at it last summer and you're kind of going, well, we've got Chilwell, and then there's not much else there.
Yeah.
The fact we're going in now, going, look, we've got 2 very good left backs going into this.
Who played our left back in 2018?
It's Ashley.
Yeah, it was Ashley Young. Yeah, it was Ashley Young.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Madness that we were playing a 34-year-old.
More madness that got into the bloody team of the tournament as well. And he was about 34 at the time, playing left back for England. Not even
Still
his actual position.
Apparently, he might come back to the Premier League. I saw the other day.
He just won. He's Inter, isn't he?
Yeah.
They just won the Serie A. So
call him up, Gareth. That's what we say. Bring back Ashley Young at 36 or whatever he is now.
Oh God, could you imagine it? Okay. Yeah. No. I agree with that. I think
Okay.
So moving into the centre back. So first kind of change here in the sense that one, we've done it differently. Matt, as I say, only got 4 centre backs. Me and George have gone with 5.
Yeah.
And me and George have both gone for different fifth centre backs.
Okay.
I'm going to start with Matt. Let me run through the 4 that are agreed, and then we'll start with a chat about it. So Harry Maguire, John Stones, Michael Keane, Tyrone Mings are in.
So that's why 4 centre backs.
Yeah. So, quick question: why only 4? Was there any particular reason why?
There's backup, and I think I just want us to play. I want us to play at 4 at the back.
So you're basically forcing yourself to play 4 by not bringing any other
basically
options.
the other thing is, and there is potential if both two get injured, then and you end up in the shit. You can start pulling players in and potentially, so you could play Declan Rice at centre back or Henderson at centre back. So there's options there, but essentially I want a 4.
Yeah,
I think it's our best formation.
I 100% agree. I don't think we should be touching 3 at the back, but I think Southgate will.
I'm not totally.
Well, before you say that, George, does that influence your decision of picking Conor Cody?
Not so much, because I wanted this to be my 26-man squad, not the squad that I think Gareth's. Otherwise, I wouldn't have picked Trent. But I kind of thought, just looking at form, as you said, I felt like Stones and Maguire kind of picked themselves. And then the other 3, I was kind of a little bit like, either one of you is going to maybe dropped out. I think I initially went with Cody and Mings. I know Wolves had a pretty poor season, really, and then Keane as well. Keane was kind of like my final centre back choice because again, I kind of just thought you need, even though I'd prefer to play 4 at the back, as Matt alluded to, we have got players like Rice, I wouldn't want to see him move there, but if we had a crisis, Rice could go there. But it's one of them where you know that if you only bring 4, one of them will get injured. So
it's very true.
So I just kind of went Stones, Maguire, Cody, Mings, and Keane. And I'd rather than just play a flat back 4 with Stones and Maguire as your 2 centre and leave it at that, personally.
But if any of those 4 apart from Stones get injured, do you really feel like the replacement is a massive step down?
I think Maguire's a very good defender.
Yeah, and I think
so. Maybe it's Maguire and Stones.
Maguire's had a very good season. You know how badly Man United are missing him now. They desperately want him to be fit for the Europa League final on Wednesday, and
all England fans sort of don't want him to be, so he doesn't get injured because they've rushed him back for a game that we don't.
Yeah, but like Cody, Mings, Keane, and I know there's like Lewis Dunk was another one I was throwing around. And
yeah, I was going to say. So I mean, the other names I had linked, I haven't picked, but these are the names I had down on the kind of on my honourable mentions. I had Lewis Dunk, James Tarkowski, who always, and Ezri Konsa. I think kind of part of that Villa defence has done quite well.
English.
He's English, but he's old now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be picking.
I think he's had a good season though.
He's consistently had a very good season. He's a solid defender, but he's the international quality.
He did put Rob Holding in there though.
But yeah, like so I feel like I went with 5 centre backs because I feel like we probably had to have 5. But
you're probably right.
Outside of Stones and Maguire, there's, as I said, the remainder of even the ones that I didn't pick in Lewis Dunk, Tarkowski, any one of those could come in if Stones and Maguire get injured, and it's not. I wouldn't be advocating they're going, we must be putting Mings in instead of putting Cody in because Mings is so much better than Cody. No, it's a case of...
The only thing I would say about Tyrone Mings is he's the only, I believe, left-footed centre-back that any of us have picked.
Okay.
And that, to me, is a very important thing. Like,
that's one of the main reasons. Well, I think he's a very good player, but I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think if you're going to play a 2, I think...
Or even, I know we're not saying we want a 3, but if you pick in a 3... and the left centre-back is not left-footed, it looks all wrong and it doesn't work. There's no balance to the left side of the pitch. So that, to me, is one of the reasons why Tyrone Mings kind of had to be in there. Okay, so my 5th choice, and it's going to surprise you because I don't think he's a name that many people would throw forward. But I think because I had this extra option, so he's one of mine that I was like, look, I've got an extra player. If I didn't have him, I wouldn't have picked him. But I've gone for Ben Godfrey at Everton.
Okay, it's an interesting shout.
Yeah, and so the main reason I was thinking is I looked at that defence and look, John Stones is clearly the ball player, and I looked at the rest of them and I go, has anyone else got that kind of ability to move forward with the ball, to play a bit? Maguire's a bit more of a stopper, Keane's a bit more of a stopper. Mings, I think, thinks he can, but I don't think he can. And I think Godfrey has a bit of that. He's very young as well, so tournament experience would be good for him. And the other thing is extremely versatile, can play right back and left back. So in that sense, I don't feel I'm light in the fullback areas.
Yeah.
If one of them goes down, I kind of feel like I don't want him to have to play, but I've always got another choice to slot in behind there. So that for me was the reason why I picked Ben Godfrey. But again, as I say, it's not a name that I don't think many would have gone for.
And been a good player for Everton this year.
Yeah, and I think probably better than Michael Keane. I would have I don't know. I mean, I've watched them, I think he's. I mean, I watched that game he played against West Ham recently. He was brilliant defensively, and he set up that goal, beautiful assist for Calvert-Lewin. So that's kind of, I think, I changed my mind late on that one, but I just kind of felt
it's a good shout. It's a really good shout. I think if I was going to add a defender, George, who did you pick?
I went with Connor Cody.
Cody.
Yeah, I think that's the one that you didn't have.
Yeah, that's
because I only picked 4. So yeah, to be fair, I think you're probably right. Ben Godfrey, especially because he can kind of play him on the left and the right.
So I mean, do we want to agree a squad?
Yeah,
together.
Yeah.
We can. It's not. As I said, like especially in the centre backs, it doesn't really make much odds to me. Really, as outside of Stones and Maguire, the rest of them, there's not much in it for me.
They're kind of there. So are we going Connor Cody or are we going Ben Godfrey?
I don't mind conceding to Ben Godfrey.
Ben Godfrey is there.
Ben Godfrey's in. So that's man 24 of our 25-man squad. Okay, moving into midfield. And I can't have any honourable mentions because I think Matt's picked every midfielder that there is in England, to be honest. There are 7 agreed names, and those are Declan Rice, Jack Grealish, Jordan Henderson, Jude Bellingham, Mason Mount, Phil Foden, and Calvin Phillips.
So that's all of my midfielders. Looking at them, yeah.
No, well, I've put Jesse in midfield.
Oh yeah, same. Yeah, same. So that's all of my midfielders.
So go for the Declan Rice.
Yeah.
Calvin Phillips.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jordan Henderson.
Yeah.
Did you say Bellingham?
Yeah.
Mason Mount.
Phil Foden.
That's it. Okay.
So the ones you're missing, and this. Well, I mean, do you want to tell us the other 2, or do you want to?
I think it's Wood-Prowse.
Yeah.
Did we say Madison?
No.
And Madison?
Yeah, those are the 2 that you have.
Did we have Jesse Lingard?
No, I didn't have Jesse Lingard.
Okay, but me and George did.
Correct.
Okay.
When do we want to start with this? I mean, let's start with Jesse Lingard because I feel like I'm going to get abuse here. So let's just get that over with.
No, I'm not going to go in like I think Lingard should be there. Like we especially with being made to 26 man. I just feel like Maddison hasn't really done anything recently apart from get told off for breaching COVID rules.
Yeah, I don't think he's helped himself in that way.
And the thing is, he's not even being picked for Leicester at the minute, is he either? So, which is a shame for him because you rewind the clocks back towards Christmas time, the kind of form he was in. I was kind of.
He went on that crazy run, didn't he? Where he's got like 6 and 8 or something mad like that.
Well, he played the FA Cup final.
He came on though.
He came on, so he did start. Yeah. But I think so as I already said, I went light on defence because for me it's all about dominate the play in midfield and dominate the attack. So I'll start with Maddison. I just think he's a really quality player. I also think he gives us a little bit more of a natural number 10 role. That I think Mason Mount is excellent. I personally, if you ask me to pick someone right now, it'd be Mount.
Well, and I think Phil Foden could easily slot in as a 10.
I do. I've never really seen him play as a 10. I think he's got this. I've got to think he's got the skill. He's got talent in bags. But I also think because they don't have a really long time to train together, you really don't. I would prefer to play someone in a natural role. So I'd rather play Foden out on the wing because that's where he plays for City, and it's a natural fit for him at the moment.
I agree with you. I'd play Foden on the wing and then Mount at number 10. And then you've got the best of both worlds then for me.
Yeah. So that was the thought process. Wood-Prowse, Deadpool specialist. I just looked at that and I went, there's great players on this list. And I don't know. And apart from Alexander-Arnold, I don't really get that scared when I see any of them over a dead ball. Do any of...
Well, Trent's got a...
Yeah, no, it's apart from Trent. Because I'm not entirely sure Trent's going to get... Well, that's a different conversation. But... I think he's a fantastic Deadpool specialist. The other thing I think he is Wood-Prowse. Again, he wouldn't start for me, but he is incredibly consistent, and he delivers a consistent, good standard football. He's not very rarely is he going to make me go, oh my god, he's crazy. But when you just want someone to come in there and steady the ship, He's played I'm not sure it's every game, but every single minute of every Premier League campaign for Southampton for the past 2 seasons. And Southampton, granted,
No,
whatever
it's
you
consistent.
but it's a very consistent player.
I like Ward-Prowse, but I'm not going to lie, I left him out because I kind of thought I'd rather someone younger in Jude Bellingham. And I also thought, realistically, like when would I want to see Ward-Prowse play? So if I was, and I know again injuries and things or whatever can happen, but I kind of think unless we need a goal within sort of say like I don't know like 5, or we get a free kick or something, then I kind of feel like I don't want him on the pitch for anything other than that, and that's kind of why I didn't pick him.
You want him to be a kicker?
Effectively,
Yeah.
yes. Effectively, yes. That's basically all
Rolling sub.
And then I feel like if we got the free, let's say we're a goal down with like 5 minutes to go, we get a free kick just outside the box, are we then going to go, right, hang on, let's just quickly warm up Ward-Prowse and then get him on just so he can take the free kick? Like,
it's like with the Dutch sub their keeper for penalty shootouts.
But even worse, because at least you know that the penalty shootout is inevitable and it's coming, but you're kind of relying on getting a free kick. And I kind of think if I was going to play a midfield now, for me personally, I would go with Jordan Henderson, Declan Rice, and Mason Mount, and then you'd have a front three of Foden, Kane, and probably Sancho. I would say. I think Sancho's been in excellent form.
Well, I mean, we're getting to starting 11. I think.
But in terms of the midfield, though, I would say, for me, my friend Declan, and then again, if you need a bit of legs in there, if one of them gets tired, you've got Calvin Phillips that could step in and do that role as well. I kind of think I just don't think there's room for me for Ward-Prowse just for set pieces alone. And I know he has been good for Southampton, but I would rather see someone like a Bellingham come in. Bellingham.
Bellingham's on my list as well. Yeah. I left Bellingham. Bellingham. It wasn't like I'm going to drop Bellingham for Ward-Prowse at all.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with everything you say, and I think if I'm looking at it, if you had to pick like a reserve list of the 26, if someone goes into full tournament,
if honestly, if it went full American football and you just had a set piece specialist, then you'd be like, all right, he's in. But because you can't just send someone on to take free kicks, I kind of think, other than that, when at what point would I ever want him on the pitch? I know that's like sounds like disrespecting here, but
I think to let him rest outside of knockouts.
So other than let's say we win our,
and he's a reserve player.
Let's say we win our first 2 group games, right? So the third game means nothing. Then obviously you'd bring them in, but at a point when we when we actually need something, when I just kind of think, at what point would I rather see him on the pitch ahead of Rice, Henderson, Phillips, Bellingham? I just don't. I just wouldn't want him on the pitch instead of them unless there was a set piece, which again, it's very situational.
Yeah. So I think let's take James Ward-Prowse's name out of the hat in terms of this.
Oh, because that was too many slots, wasn't it?
Well, no. So I mean, we still decided in terms of slots of midfielder we can. No. But I just think I don't.
No, I'm totally happy to take him out because I know my midfield's more stacked, and so we moved one to defence compared to my list. So it kind of makes sense to take Ward-Prowse out, and then I guess who else? How many more slots do we want?
Well, I mean that's the question. So if we can have one more midfielder, we can have. So we each pick 5 attackers that we agree on. So if we pick 1 midfielder, we can have another attacker, or if we pick 2 midfielders, then that's it for the attack. We only have 5. So I mean, look. So we've taken Ward-Prowse's name out. James Maddison. I mean, I personally, just on form, can't see where I'd pick him at the minute.
Same.
I get what you're saying about a 10, but he can't play for Leicester.
For me, we've got enough 10s. We've got enough players that can play there anyway.
I don't want to feel like you're...
No. I'm just thinking about it. So we take him out, and I'm just thinking. Well, let's go on to it. So let's take those out, and let's go with the 6.
Well, so we've got 7, but we've not decided anything on Jesse Lingard. And this is, I suppose, so I didn't pick Jesse Lingard, so I'll tell you my reasoning for that.
Yeah.
And I think it's to a lesser extent but it was similar reasoning to what you're saying about kind of Ward-Prowse. I think there's younger options. I think there's ways that England, for whatever reason, have decided they've moved on, and I didn't feel justified in picking for any one slot, and that was why I couldn't. For my justification in my own head, I was looking at it going, do I pick him as a wing? Well, I think we've got 2 or 3 better wingers I want in front of him. Do I pick him as an 8? Well, I think we've got 2 or 3 better players for there as well. Do I pick him as a 10? Again, I think we've got 2 or 3 better players in every position where he would play. The versatility maybe is a help for his cause, but in my own head, I couldn't bring myself over what has been, albeit a very good 6 months. A good 6 months.
He's also just to like build on your argument against yourself, but he has fallen flat over the past month. No one really talks about it, but he hasn't been the flame that he was. Now, I do think it would be overly harsh to criticise him. I do think it would be overly harsh to criticise him because of that.
I get what you're coming from, but I do feel like I wouldn't necessarily say that he's played badly in those games. He's just not been scoring. You know, he scored 9 goals before the last 3 or 4 games.
I'm not. It's not a criticism. Yeah. It's just like I'm just.
But the other thing I'll say is, do England play a way that's going to unlock the way he's played at West Ham, in the way that he plays right up the pitch, in that almost in the front 2 at times with Antonio? Will England, because he'll be shunted wide, or he'll play in midfield? Yeah. Let's be honest, he's not playing in header. Okay, we're not going to pick a 2. Sorry, that's kind of again another reason why I'm looking at it going, I don't see it. If I'm looking at a 4-3-3, which is what I would want us to play, I just think there are better players in every position.
Well, he doesn't start, but you need to
I agree with that. And the thing is, I might be opening up a bit of a can of worms here, and I am this player that I'm going to potentially throw under the bus, I am a massive, massive fan of. But I just think they've had a poor season. But I still pick them because I still think that ultimately they can offer enough. But I was thinking about this the other day, and I was thinking, if I was going on form right now, who would I rather pick? And again, if you go back, if we rewind the clocks back 6 months, or even like 2 years or so ago, a year ago, this would have been unthinkable. But as of right now, I think if I was going on form, I would rather pick Lingard than Sterling. And again, as I said, and as I said, like, believe me, I'm a massive, massive fan of Sterling. You know, like going into not this season, last season, I really thought Sterling was going to get to the point where he could, like push on and get, 30, 40 goals in all competitions, because he was scoring so many. And then this season, which could potentially be Man City's best season ever, he was the one that was undroppable 2 years ago, Sterling. So much so that Sane had to go to Bayern Munich, and that Mahrez was moaning at the fact that he'd signed for Man City and couldn't get in. And now we're at a point really where Mahrez can't be dropped, Foden can't be dropped, De Bruyne can't be dropped, and all of a sudden Sterling's kind of out in the cold at Man City. Now, of course, again, he's still a brilliant player, and I would still take him. But I was thinking on form, I would say that Lingard probably deserves to be there ahead of Sterling if you're going on form over the last 6 months or so.
But you're not telling me Lingard is a better player than Raheem Sterling?
In terms of pure ability, no. But in terms of performance on the pitch in this Premier League season, yes.
Half a season. He didn't play the first half.
I would say half a great season is still better than one whole poor season.
But I don't think it's been one whole poor season. I think it's about Christmas when he started getting dropped.
But this is like
he's still got 13 or 14 goals this year.
Yeah, because that's based on Man City. And that's across all comps, and they are in all comps. But this debate is Raheem Sterling, is Jesse Lingard better than Raheem Sterling?
Yeah, no,
that's not the debate. I get George's point in that if you're going on form, someone's done something half this season, the other one hasn't really.
Yes, I take that. But if you ask every team who England are playing against, who would you rather play, Raheem Sterling or Jesse Lingard? They'll pick Jesse Lingard.
But would you kind of say that's because? But would you say that's also because, while he plays for Man City, Sterling is, and obviously he's been in the England team more regularly, Sterling has more closely been in the limelight the last couple of years or so than Jesse Lingard has.
I just think he has the threats that defenders hate playing against.
I do agree, and as I said, I think you've pushed came to shove. I probably would pick Sterling, but more based on what he was doing a year or two ago than what he's done this season.
I agree with that, but I just think I'll take John Stones as an example. He couldn't get in that City team for 2 years. He's not a bad player because he can't get in that City team. Raheem Sterling isn't a bad player.
But would you pick John Stones while he still couldn't get in the team at that point? And I know we've got.
It depends on what point. Early on, I would have done, but
I know the centre back. We've got nowhere near as much depth as the attackers, so it's a bit different, isn't it? But yeah, as I said, it's a bit of an interesting one for me. I think. But push come to shove. But
I think we've all picked Raheem, so I think we're going a bit off topic.
Yeah.
The question is, I would be happy if Jesse Lingard was in it. I'm not entirely against it. I just
who would you rather not have him in it and have another player? And if so,
I picked a different player instead. Yeah.
Okay. So who is that player?
Well, I picked two players who you haven't picked, but that's a whole other thing. So the player who I picked, and you're gonna hate that I picked this because you're gonna go like Jesse's miles better than it. Bukayo Saka.
I don't hate it.
No,
because of its utility.
No, it's not even that. I think let's be real. The kid's only young, and he's been Arsenal's best player. So
yeah, absolutely.
So I can understand that. He very nearly made mine. So I'm not.
I mean, again, so what we're talking about here is probably what would be my extra. So my 7 midfielders that I picked are in. And then the other two names now are kind of what I, as I said, call my bonus picks.
Yeah.
Of who wouldn't have got in if it was 23.
So Bukayo Saka.
Yeah, and I kind of felt again. So Jesse Lingard is 28. If we look into the future, how much is he going to play anyway? Is there much point taking him? Maybe for tournament experience, you pick him just to. And he's good around the group. Yeah. Another reason.
And Saka has been tricky. And I wouldn't say that...
And he's that... And I've always said, I think a squad needs an unknown quantity, and I think Saka can offer that little difference of a player maybe not many people have seen.
I don't hate it.
Again, also for the versatility, he can play left back, he can play right wing.
I do think Jesse's a better player right now.
But
he's also 7 years older than him or something. So,
yeah.
I think he's only 19, isn't he?
19, 20, something
like that. I don't even think he's 20 yet. Yeah. So... he's 8 years older than him, or 7.5 years older than him. I don't blame him for not being as good as Jesse. He's much younger in his career.
And to be fair as well, I'm going to throw he has been playing in a poorer team this season. I'm going to throw that out there.
Yeah,
he has been playing in a poorer team this season.
And he's been a shining light.
I mean, the only reason
17 or 18
they got close to Europe was probably because of him. I mean, I know they missed out on the day of the Conference League, but they were not getting close.
Oh no, they're just below. Oh no, did they follow? No,
finished 8th in the end.
They finished 8th. Yeah.
Okay, so let me. So the names we've got still down. There's 2 spots left.
Yeah.
3 names.
Yeah.
Me and Georgia both picked Mason Greenwood. You and Georgia both picked Jesse Lingard, and I picked Bukayo Saka.
And this is including attackers.
Yeah.
So this is everything now. Okay.
Yeah. Well, because I'm just thinking we've all got 2 spaces and 3 names.
So yeah, you kind of mentioned. Sorry, you kind of mentioned bonus picks, and I was kind of because I know what you mean. I kind of picked the 24, but then I didn't like. It's weird the way I didn't really see them as bonus. Like the one that was definitely last to be in my squad was Greenwood. I think I could cut Greenwood off if we were only going to do 23 men, or even that. Like Greenwood's had a good last month or so, but what's he done for the rest of the season? I just think it's because he's young, and I think he's got potential, but.
I think bar Harry Kane is the best finisher in this whole thing.
I think he is a very, very good finisher.
I think if England needed to nick a goal, and you want someone who's just going to score.
I know he's got that like Michael Owen-ness about him, hasn't he? It's just. I feel bad picking him on the basis of like 1 month worth of football, which is obviously the best time if you're going to hit form at any point. Do it right.
Season, but same for Lingard as well. He's not been good for the last 2 years, but the last 6 months have been excellent, and it's leading into a major tournament.
I think
It helps.
I think it's a longer period though than just Mason Mount's.
No, but my point is that still that hit form at the right time. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
If the Euros were picked last summer, Jesse Lingard doesn't even get talked about.
Do you know a name that I don't think was on? Well, it wasn't on my list.
Yeah.
But and you might go, oh, this is the reason he's not on here. Danny Ings.
Yeah, so I mean, I've got him on my list of kind of people to discuss.
Okay, so he's on there, yeah.
I mean,
because I didn't think he was going to be fit, but he was playing last week.
And again, if we talk about natural finishers, Danny Ings is a natural finisher, but Mason Greenwood's ceiling is excellent.
Oh yeah, I don't debate that, but I just think
when you think Kane is your first.
Yeah.
Calvert-Lewin has been excellent this year, and he deserves to go as a second choice.
Golden boot and golden assists, or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And then you're kind of looking at a third one. I'm going, well, so the other name I had down here is Patrick Bamford.
I was going to say like Watkins, Bamford, like
Watkins as well.
Yeah, like they've both had excellent seasons.
When you look at that, I'm kind of looking for a point of difference. You've got Kane, who's the all-round ball-court player,
and will be picked first every time.
Calvert-Lewin's your big hold-up target man, like everything sticks to him. Really good player. And the third, I wanted a good finisher, and that's why I picked Mason Greenwood.
But not Danny Ings.
I think I picked
purely on age.
I think I picked Mason Greenwood over Bamford and Watkins more on his potential, more on who do I think is going to still be in these England squads in 6-7 years' time. And you would say it's more than likely that it would be Greenwood than Watkins and Bamford as of right now. So that was kind of what, like, I would say Greenwood is the only one I've really sort of defined as a bonus pick, because it was only when I got to about 25 I thought I've still got one spot here. Who should I throw in? Greenwood. Everyone else I kind of just was like just picking them because I thought they all had a case to go.
I didn't pick him because I thought he was injured. But I think we'd be silly not to take Ings. And the reason I think we'd be silly is if he was available, would we all have Jamie Vardy on the list?
No.
This season, probably not.
Not this season.
No.
I think Danny Ings is a menace. And I think and I think you're right. I think Harry Kane is just the complete centre forward. He's ridiculous. Calvert-Lewin is that big titan. I think Danny Ings is a menace. He gets there and he finishes so consistently. And he's not afraid to be very physical. He's not afraid to get in the way of things. Yes, he's an injury liability.
That again, he did, and I know I know he's fit now, but I did kind of think first game he comes on 5 minutes ago and he snaps his hamstring for the fourth time in 20 minutes.
How do reserves work?
What's the point of that? Huh?
How do reserve call-ups work? How many do you get?
Well, so you only get them until the tournament starts, and you don't have any more.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's why reserves.
Yeah.
That's why you pick 26. Otherwise, you just pick 18 and you just rotate them in.
No, yeah, I thought so. I didn't know if it was like before the groups, like before the last 16 or something. But yeah.
So that for me is another reason why potentially not Danny Ings.
Yeah, It's third choice. It's third choice centre forward, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, and the thing is as well. I know we've talked about this like off air before, but you can. Worst comes to worst, you can put Rashford up front if you need to as well.
I mean, George, the other thing I know you talked about it a bit before, James or Prowse. You talk about moments. If 10 minutes to go, chasing a game, what do you want? You want a goal scorer.
Yeah.
You want a sniffer. And I think Mason Greenwood has that ability. I think he strikes the ball so pure.
I certainly think he has the ability.
Yeah, to be fair, I agree.
United fans, I think if you ask United fans, they'll say he's missed a lot of chances this year as well.
Yeah. I don't know, see?
He hasn't had the best season.
But
he's still very young. He's still very young.
Again, I think you look at all competitions. I think he's certainly in double figures.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's a very good player.
So, it's just for guys who's 19.
I do think I go back to your point though. So I do think if we're chasing goal, and then we've got to bring an extra striker on for whoever at this point. I personally would rather see Greenwood come on than Danny Ings. As much as I might think that Danny Ings is a better all-round striker right now, I think with his pace, I think with his energy, and I think he's also got the finishing to boot. I just feel like I'd rather see Greenwood come on off the bench than Danny Ings personally.
And he can play wide as well a bit.
Yeah.
He can play on the right wing as well. So, I mean, I'm happy for it to be Jesse Lingard and Mason Greenwood and Saka Bukayo Saka, but
So what's that? Jesse Lingard.
so I've got Jesse, Bukayo Saka, and Mason Greenwood. We need 2 from 3.
I'm happy with that 3.
No, we need 2.
from 3.
Yeah, no, I'm happy with that 3. I'm just so like we're not going to talk about any other players.
Well, there aren't anymore. We've agreed all the rest. Let me just run through the forwards. I mean, you can tell who they're going to be, but so we've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Jadon Sancho, Raheem Sterling, Marcus Rashford, and Harry Kane.
Yeah,
obviously.
it's pretty inclusive that is, isn't it?
I think. I think if you're going to go on, because all of these players aren't starting.
No.
They're not in the starting 11. So I think if you're going to go
They
on,
may not even be your sub. They'll be on the bench, but they may not even be your first rolling sub even.
yeah. So I think if you're chasing a game, and I'm just thinking players that have probably been running a lot, you're not going to take Harry Kane off because it's Harry Kane. You're not going to take Raheem Sterling off. Maybe.
Depends on the game.
I'm not even sure, to be honest, I'm not even sure Raheem Sterling starts on form now. I would rather start Sancho personally.
Sancho and
And Foden, but we'll get into that in a
yeah.
We'll fill it out. Get the seats on the bus.
So I think Saka. I think I'm happy with that. I think Saka should go.
Okay.
George, do you agree? Oh, sorry.
So there's not really a lot in it for me. So a little part of me is kind of like, I don't really care who I sack off, but at the same,
So let me put it this way: Saka or Greenwood?
I think I'd pick Greenwood.
Yeah.
Okay. Saka or Jesse? You picked Jesse because you didn't pick Saka.
I know, but I'm just.
And I made such a compelling case.
I'm not just that. I'm just thinking of, because I did think of him, but then now I'm also thinking again 5, 6, 7 years time.
I think it's Saka. I think if you're going youth, then you go Saka and Greenwood.
I think we agreed Greenwood then. So what it is Saka or Lingard. I'm going to pencil in Greenwood as being.
Okay, so let's say Greenwood.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm happy with that.
So now we're 1 from 2.
I think.
Lingard. I've made a decision on that. I've made up Lingard. That's what I'm going with anyway.
I think I'm going to go Lingard as well.
Okay, I'm happy with
because the reason I go Lingard is because a big reason I was taking Saka is because I think you could kind of play him elsewhere in the pitch. But I think with the squad that we've got enough players that can play all over the place, especially if we're taking someone like Ben Godfrey as well.
Yeah,
I think you've got like 5 players, like you've got a bunch of players along with the players that play that position to fill in a space. So if we're just going on pure, who am I going to put on to really influence the game? I think it would be Jesse Lingard over Saka.
Okay, so our squad is Dean Henderson, Jordan Pickford, either Nick Pope or Sam Johnson, depending on injury, but Nick Pope obviously first choice in that regard.
Yeah.
Fullbacks: Kyle Walker, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Ben Chilwell, Luke Shaw. Centre backs: Godfrey, Maguire, Stones, Keane, and Mings. Midfield: we've got Declan Rice, Grealish, Henderson, Bellingham, Lingard, Mount, Foden, Phillips. And then as forwards, we've got Calvert-Lewin, Sancho, Sterling, Rashford, Greenwood, Kane. Sounds pretty good to me, boys, to be honest with you.
Solid, doesn't it?
So we've gone from about 30 down to 26. Let's go from 26 to 11. Starting 11, Croatia, 12th of June. How we go?
So goalkeeper,
yep.
Jordan Pickford. Are we all agreed?
I think I would go Pickford.
I
don't think it's a lot in it.
Yeah.
I think the reason I would pick Pickford is just passing range. I think
I
he's a better
also think
distributor.
his form has got better in the last couple
I
of
agree.
months. Kind of under the radar. He's not made many mistakes recently. And he played really... I know they lost 5-0 against City, but he actually played really well.
And I think that if we want to go far in this tournament, which we will do, I think there is something to say of you don't want to fuck with your defender and centre backs too much. They've known each other. They've played loads. True. There's a little bit of nice stability by having that partnership three in the middle. So I think Pickford.
Yeah, I'll stick with Pickford.
Okay. So, back four. Well, let's start right back, because I think this would be interesting. Walker or Alexander-Arnold?
Trent for me.
I would go Trent as well.
I would go Trent.
Okay. Well, that was
it does depend who we play, because I do think that Trent is still a defensive liability.
Well, I mean, I think...
But I would go him against Croatia. And I think I'd go him against 90% of people. It's only if we got... I'd worry about Trent against someone like Leroy Sané.
Well, no, and I was about to bring up Walker against Mbappe in the Champions League, because I thought he marshalled Mbappe really well in that game. Because everyone is fighting to death for Mbappe's pace.
And yeah, quick, isn't he?
Yeah. So there is
maybe it's more horses for courses against Croatia. I'm looking at their aging, crooked midfielders going, look, it's not that.
Yeah. And it's games that I expect to have a lot of possession. If we have a lot of the ball, then Trent Alexander-Arnold's going to do well. But if we're playing against someone like France, there's a bit more of a question mark in there for me, because when Trent doesn't have the ball, he could do obviously a lot with it, but if he doesn't have a lot of the ball, then you miss out a lot of his quality, and that way it might be good to have someone like Kyle Walker that just blast past someone and can control Mbappe.
Well, I suppose it's that strengths-weaknesses thing. Trent's strength is having possession and not as good defensively. So, because we have the ball, strengths outweigh weaknesses. If we don't have the ball, he's not getting enough of the ball, so his weakness is exposed, and that's it.
It's almost such a great thing that we've got two right-backs that are very different options, but both quality players.
Yeah, and also you've got a kind of age, experience and youth as well, so I kind of like that balance.
No, I totally agree.
Okay, so centre-backs, I think we're all going to be very easy agreed it's Maguire and Stones, and there's absolutely no debate about that, because they're clearly...
I was going to put Craig Dawson in there.
Well, you didn't pick it for your squad, so that'll be an interesting one.
He just rocks that.
And so I know left back, me and George, we both said Luke Shaw. You wanted
I'll go Luke Shaw. I think Chilwell's the better overall player, but...
Okay, so now are we going 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3, or some variation on either of those?
I think 4-3-3.
Holding. Holding midfielder. With Rob Holding in there.
Yeah. Got to have Rob Holding as a holding. So Declan Rice, defensive midfielder?
Yes.
Yeah, for me.
I think so. Got to be. Mason Mount is definitely one of those other two central midfielders.
Yeah.
For me. And then for me, that third spot is probably the most interesting position in terms of balance and how you want to play as a side. I think it's the hardest position to pick, actually.
Yeah.
I think I'd go Henderson.
I probably would too.
The mature, level-headed, smart person.
Leadership as well.
Yeah. Says Henderson. But there's a bit of me that just wants to play FIFA Ultimate Team and just put Bellingham in there and see what he can do.
I'm kind of looking at it. I'm kind of looking Foden as an 8. I feel like Foden could. If you say against Scotland, where we're not going to be under much defensive pressure, I wouldn't imagine. I could be wrong, but I could see one of Grealish or Foden being in that midfield. If you want to go attacking and have good ball players in the midfield.
I just think for the leader is that I don't think you can't.
I agree. I love Jordan Henderson, and I probably would pick him.
And to be fair, I would probably, as much as I even love Rice, and I think Rice is, potentially the next England captain. I just think, looking at what Henderson's done the last couple of years, I don't think you can't not have Henderson in there. Even if that would then mean dropping either Mount or Rice, I don't think you can't not have Henderson in there.
And I watched some of the highlights in that Liverpool game, and he looks back to the player that.
He's not playing centre back, which is always going to help his.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I think he gives a nice balance, because I think Mount, he's a really great player, but he's definitely. I think we all agree he's more of an attacker than he is.
You let Mount go do his thing.
Box to box. Yeah, exactly.
You
almost
split
into a 2.
Yeah, you let Henderson and Rice. Keep things ticking over. Yeah, marshal the defence, that kind of thing. And then you give the ball to Mount, and let Mount do his thing, and then moving into the front three again. I don't know where you guys stand. I personally would go with Foden, Kane, Sancho as my front three. If I'm going.
Yeah. See, I think still, and I know he's not been great recently. I'd go Foden on the right, Sterling left, Kane up front.
I just don't think you can drop Sancho.
I think
Like,
Sanchez
it's-
is so much
how-
better than Sterling this season.
Has his form for England ever been as good as his form for Dortmund? Though?
But I will say, he doesn't always play as much for England as he has for Dortmund, and I just think.
I can argue that.
For what he's done this season, I think Sancho should be playing ahead of Sterling.
So the reason why also is I like inverted wingers with bombing fullbacks, and when you have Sancho on the right, he's a natural wide man. He likes playing kind of chalk, get the cross in. That's why he's got so many assists. I know he scores goals, but he's not. I wouldn't say he's a prolific. I mean, he's got 10, but I mean, yeah, he's not.
He's in the Bundesliga.
Yeah, and so great player, but I do like when you have two wingers kind of funneling the play inwards and then two fullbacks providing the width. I do find that a good style of play to watch, and that's why I think Foden is important to this whole team. Is he can do that anyway because he's unbelievable. What about Jack Grealish though? I mean, you're looking at that position. People are saying he has to start. People will say he has to start.
It's just because of the injury for me. But I would say Jack Grealish would be one of the first people I would bring on. I just don't think he's been played enough games since coming back from injury. And I think both Mount and Foden have both been incredible. If one of them had dipped, then I could say put Jack Grealish at number 10 or put Jack Grealish out on the wing. But where both of them have possibly been the best player for their club this season, both of them have played a huge part in their team getting to a Champions League final. I don't think you could. It's hard to the injuries, but I don't.
Yeah, maybe suggesting Grealish as a left winger and Foden on the right is an option. That's where he naturally plays for Villa as a left winger.
Yeah. I mean, I think
it's amazing we've got this much attacking talent. I mean, you've looked at England squads in the past, but how toothless is this? Like, who are we going to pick out wide? We've got no one to play. Where's the goals? Where's the threat? Who's going to pass it? Who's got the assists? I think we've got too much. We've got so much talent. It's exciting to watch.
It's almost like there's a little bit of me that just wants to go fuck it, line up like Belgium does with like 17 attacking players.
Yeah. There's a reason they're not winning major tournaments.
Yeah, I was going to say that's like Roberto Martinez all over, isn't it? Really.
They have the Everton side. Good watch, but scary.
Yeah, I mean they beat us.
They did beat us.
Twice.
But we played such a weird team though.
But both
player played.
Let's be real. Both those games were dead. Like, who gives a fuck about third place player? And
no, I think. I thought you were talking about the Nations League.
Oh.
They beat us recently.
They did beat us again.
But we beat them as well,
beat them in the other one.
Yeah,
we did.
Yeah. So I wasn't particularly talking. But
Look, they're a threat.
They're a threat.
Okay. I'm happy for Sancho to start the opening game.
I agree with
as I think my.
As long as Foden's in there, I mean, let's have a quick word on Foden. Like, how good is he? I mean,
man.
I would start Foden over Sterling as it stands.
Yeah, well, you do that.
For me, I think other than Kane, I think Foden's the second name on the team sheet for me after Kane.
Yeah.
This
maybe feeds into it. So I wanted to give you some predictions.
I genuinely think if City carry on, the way they are compete, I think he'll win a Ballon d'Or if he carries on like this.
I agree. I mean, for me, how far away do you think he is right now? He's been one of their best players this season.
He might win a Champions League.
I mean, I thought it was telling at the weekend that, Pep bought off Phil Foden before he bought off the likes of Kevin De Bruyne. I don't know. I mean, that says something to me. That's not him saying, Phil, you're not.
When you think as well, and we know Messi is Messi, obviously, but when you think as well that Pep has coached both of those players, and then he comes out, and you could say that it's because he's coaching him right now, and then. But for him to put it out there publicly that he thinks that Foden is the most talented player he's ever worked with, that says everything, doesn't it? Really. So yeah, for me, I'd have Foden, Kane, Sancho. That would be the way I'd go with it personally.
Yeah.
Okay, let's stick with that then.
Should we try and do a game of like predicting Gareth's 11 or?
Well, I mean, it'd be interesting to see how many names of our 26 do you think Gareth will pick?
Eric Dyer will be in there.
Yeah, I've got a horrible
Ben
feeling.
Dyer will be.
Ben Godfrey won't be picked.
Ben
so-
I've got a horrible feeling Dyer will be in there. I think Reece James might make the cut, and not that I think Reece James is a bad player. I think he's a good player. I just don't. If you're taking
Yeah,
three
probably
right backs,
the other two. I don't want it. But yeah, I
No.
agree. I think Reece James probably will get.
yeah,
Well, I think actually I could easily see him picking Trippier.
as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think Trippier will definitely be in there. And I could see that argument. I mean, he's just one.
I think, and I think
He's
Sterling.
a good all-arounder. You're not I don't feel like you're not getting anything great with him, but you're not sacrificing anything. In
I reckon we'll get 22. Looking at it, I don't think Greenwood will get picked.
I don't think Grealish will get picked.
Grealish.
I'm not sure if Grealish will.
I think
It just doesn't seem to particularly like him. That's just a punt. I don't know who else you put in there. Eric Dyer probably.
Jude Bellingham's another one who might just miss out, but I think he's a
I
fantastic
think he'd
player.
be stupid not to.
But I mean, he is so young.
He is, but then again,
I think he's a great.
he's
talent.
not.
If you're good enough, you're old enough. It's that kind of thing, isn't it? If you're good enough, you're
He
old
wasn't
enough.
that much.
Whether Southgate sees it that way.
Yeah,
But I mean,
He wasn't that much older.
I'll give Southgate his due. He's not been afraid to throw the youngsters in.
No.
Trent
My,
wasn't much
you know what?
younger.
Like my biggest fear, and I do think
David Sancho or Sancho.
my biggest
Go.
fear. It's not even so much as who plays in it, because we have got and there's so much choice there that if we regardless of what if we do badly, let's say he does pick Foden over Grealish. If we don't win the game, then loads of people turn around and go, "Oh, we should have picked Grealish." It's just that kind of. But the thing that I worry about the most is the fact that he's going to play 3 centre backs, which I think he will. I think that's.
I agree. But I do think that unless Stones and Maguire are fit, he would have to. I don't think any of the other defenders are good enough.
But I don't think by trying to compensate that by playing a third one makes any. But I think if anything, it just
I don't hate the system of 3 at the back. If you can play it properly,
in this team I do,
very important.
because we've got so much attacking quality.
Can't we go 3-4-3? 3-4-3 would work. So that's a lot of attacking players on the pitch.
And I just think you lose. I just think you lose
And I
one
don't
of those
want to
attacking
play a 3,
gems.
but
I just think you
but-
lose one of those attacking gems by playing 3 at the back that you don't need to play.
okay.
I don't feel like, as I said, like we know we like everyone knows that a centre back is our weakest position. So by playing a third one there, I feel like you're just putting more emphasis on that than you are actually helping it. I don't think.
I would say centre backs is only our weakest position when if one of Stones and Maguire is injured. It's the only place where we don't have depth. Because you're talking about a Premier League winner and a guy who came second in the Premier League in those two.
In one in the Champions League final, one in the Europa League final.
Yeah, and both key players.
Yeah, he is
So
obviously.
if you're talking about those two in terms of a first team, I think we've got as good as probably any in Europe. Looking across the piece of it, I mean, Spain haven't picked Sergio Ramos this year, so I mean, I'm looking across.
Really.
Yeah, and Germany have got like Mats Hummels in there. He's like 34 now. I mean,
Yeah.
Francis is alright, but
Who?
it's not Francis. But it's not
Francis,
terrifying. I mean, you've got good players in there, and you've
I
got solid
think
players.
I think it's a depth thing as well.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
In terms of first team too,
But what
I think
I wouldn't want to see either is I wouldn't want to see I wouldn't want to see like a centre back 3 of even Stones, Maguire, and then Kyle Walker as a right-sided centre back.
Oh yeah, we tried that in the Euros.
Yeah, like I just don't think. I just don't. We did that at the World Cup, didn't we? I just don't want to see that anymore. And I
think if we're going to play a 3, and I'm not saying advocating it, but if we're going to do it, it has to be Stones right, Maguire middle, Mings left. It has to be those 3, because otherwise it all falls apart. You've got 2 ball players on the side, left and right footed. That's how it has to play. If we're not doing that, we can't do it.
Yeah.
That for me is as simple as that.
So, yeah, I think Jesse will be in there in Gareth's squad.
He likes Jesse. He knows
Yeah,
how
he
to
does. And I think that's. I see. I do like Gareth, and I do think he's got a lot of stick over since the restart, basically, because that the games have been poor. But after the World Cup, you only have to look at the way we were playing against Spain and the likes of Croatia in that Nations League, and even I know we always win our qualifiers, but under Roy Hodgson we would labour through them. It would be boring 1-0 2. We were scoring as many goals in our qualifiers as France were, and France had as equally a shit group as we did. So but I just kind of feel like since the restart back, like over a year, the best part of a year ago now. I just feel like we've reverted back to this 5 at the back system, which we'd have initially moved away from after the World Cup. And I just, as I said, with so much attacking talent there, I always feel like focus on your strengths. Like, you don't want to completely ignore the other team, of course, because then you're liable to get your pants pulled down. Yeah. But I'm always more of an advocate of play to your own strengths first, and then. And again, if there's something frightening on the other team, then you can try and deal with it.
Well, I mean, this is kind of what we're talking about with Kylian Mbappe in terms of picking Walker or Trent. What we're not saying there is we're completely changing the way we play because we're playing France. We're saying one of those players is better at dealing with one of France's strengths. That's all we're doing.
Yeah.
We're not completely fundamentally changing our system for this. We're just thinking one thing, we want to tactically tweak it. And look, it'll be interesting to watch the warm-up games, which I think start not next week, but the week after, to see how he plays in those, because that's generally a pretty good idea of how you're going to play in a major tournament.
Yeah, I agree.
So let's get some predictions. I want to know who's going to be England's best player at the tournament, top goal scorer, and best young player.
Top goal scorer, I'm going to go Kane, and I think best player, I'm going to go Foden, and then I'm going to put him in the same best young player as well. Even though it's a bit weird, isn't it, both?
Yeah, I would probably agree with those. And maybe a surprise package. Who's going to kind of shine? Who maybe isn't one of England's major? Who would you call one of the shining lights? Who do you think maybe will announce themselves at this tournament?
I think Jude Bellingham could. No one really he's a very good player.
I would like to say Bellingham. I just not sure how much football he will play. The one that I would say, I know you say announce himself because we do what. I'd say potentially Rice. I still think there's a lot of people that just don't rate Rice, that just don't watch him. And I feel like if he has a good tournament, there's still these Man United fans out there. They're like, oh, I don't want to pay 80 million for him. And I'm kind of like, well, we don't want to sell him to you. And I feel like this tournament, if he has a good tournament, it could be the one where those Man United fans that have watched 5 minutes of him all season might look at him and go, well, fucking hell, actually, we should go get this guy and pay the stupid money that they want.
It's fine. They've got Scott McTominay. It's
fine.
Yeah. Just looking in the chat, FC Reborn just put Bellingham for. I think that was Shining Star.
Okay. Yeah.
So I totally see it, but I totally see it. I do get what you mean. He's probably not going to play that much football. I would like to see him start more.
Yeah.
Because the other thing I am thinking, probably not for this tournament because I appreciate he's still very young, but I do think that midfield needs a bit of a box to box.
Yeah, and
I think right now we're giving that role to Henderson, which I think he can do it. I think he's a very, very good player, and I think you get lots
Rice
of
is the box to box.
like leadership.
Could be the box to box though.
Would you?
I would say, just because the energy in the legs, I think. Just because the energy in the legs.
You're pivoting the triangle, having Henderson playing holding and Rice. It's one of the kind of more not as attacking in the three.
Yeah, you'd have Mount still be the attacker, but I think Rice could easily bomb up and down
box to box. You need
as long as he's not shooting from 25 yards because he just fucking can't.
Who, Declan Rice?
Yes.
He's done it once.
He scored one goal, and now every time he gets the ball there, he thinks I'm going to have to go and put in Rosette every time.
He scored a good goal yesterday, but that
it was a good goal, but that was not from 25 yards.
That's not from 25 yards. No. I do agree.
Okay.
But I you know as well as I do, players do that because of lack of option.
Yeah, but I mean, my point is,
the point is the same. I agree, but we both know that why do we always see midfielders do it? It's because they go, "There's fuck all down there. There's fuck all down there."
I mean, I think I'm going to say Jack Grealish because I think although renowned in England, I think maybe abroad he's not a name people are going to know.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
If he gets minutes and he gets on the pitch, you know the talent he's got.
That's part of the reason why I was thinking Rice as well. I think Rice or Grealish, especially if Grealish gets a lot of game time, where Rice plays for West Ham, where Grealish plays for Aston Villa, I feel like fans across abroad aren't going to know those players so much. Whereas like Foden and Mount have been pivotal in getting their teams to Champions League finals. So I feel like so I feel like fans will be expecting big things from those players. Whereas Rice and Grealish, I feel like they more go under the radar because they're not playing for like a Man City, for example. So I feel like they could really announce themselves on the world stage if they have a good tournament.
Okay, so final question from me: how far do England go?
I think we get to the final.
Oh no, you're not going to break my heart, are you?
I think I am. Yeah. I'm not sure if we've got it to go all the way. I'm not sure if we've got it to go all the way. I'm not going to sit here and say we win it, but I think we get to the final.
I mean, I don't know. I'm actually going to be a little bit negative here. I just get a sense of we're going to build this tournament up. It looks a very strong squad, and we're going to go out in the quarterfinals because we're going to get a very tough second round draw.
I was going to say that actually because I wanted to discuss with you guys the way they're doing the last 16 or whatever it is, because it's kind of mad. So I think that if we top our group, we'll play whoever finishes second in like whatever other group it is. But then like some groups will get to play the third place team. So I'm kind of thinking.
And I think it's also if we finish second, we still get a second place team.
So it's done in such because for me personally, I would go right. Who has topped their group by the most amount of points, or and go right. Okay, you've been the best of. You've topped your group the best, so you'll play the third place teams that go through, and then the rest. But I don't even think they're doing it like that. I think they're doing
they're not doing it like that. I agree with that, and that also would be a much better way of doing it because there's no more dead rubbers. Because you get to group 3, say you've won your only 2 games, you're through, you rest, you rotate, you put 11 kids on. Now, if you have if we win the game, then we'll be top of the list, we'll play someone garbage.
Yeah.
Surely that's a better way. It keeps the games more interesting and kind of more opportunity to those kind of those teams to get through. I mean, I don't get why they change it from whatever it was to 32 anyway, and add another round. It didn't make sense to me.
It just waters the competition down for me, to be honest. But
I mean, look, me and Matt have got our Panini sticker album, and you see the likes of North Macedonia in here, and you're going, really? I mean, God,
we might not play.
I'm not saying that, but my point, to George's point of watering down the competition. If it's a 16-man team, what was it? It was a 16-man team.
16-team competition. Yeah.
If it was that, no way North Macedonia qualified.
I disagree. I think saying we're going to get knocked out in the 16 in the quarterfinals is negative. And the reason I say that is, what team pops up that scares you?
No, so here's the thing, right? And I could hang on, and I could be wrong with this, right? I could be wrong. So I think if we win our group, we'll be playing the runner-up of Group F. Do you want to know who's in Group F, right? France, Germany, Portugal, and Hungary. Do you really want to be playing one of them in the last 16? I know. If you want to win the tournament, you're going to have to play at least one of them.
I think it's a thing of not who you're afraid of, but who on their day can beat you. Any one of those 3 teams on their day can beat England. And that works the other way around, because England can beat any one of those teams on their day as well. But
it's not, and even though you
that early in the competition, do you want to have to knock out Germany second round? Because no doubt it goes to penalties.
Or Portugal or France. So,
I mean, Ronaldo could just whack a hat trick out of absolutely nothing.
Bruno Fernandes.
Diogo Jota as well. I mean, they've got a good squad. Portugal. Pedro Neto, I like too.
It's the Euros. Everyone's.
Yeah, I get that.
I 100% get what you're saying, Matt. But I think the point that me and Simon are making is, you would rather play teams of this caliber in like the semi-final. And the final.
Of course. I didn't know those names. So what it was, one of France, Germany,
or Portugal, realistically, because Hungary are going to finish dead bottom of that group, aren't they? So
so it's runner-up, so it's second place.
Yeah. So it's realistically going to be Germany or Portugal again. Both. Don't get me wrong. Like, Germany have been terrible over the last couple of years or so.
Oh yeah.
And Portugal, they won the Euros, so it's one of them where if either of those teams knocked England out, no one would be surprised. No one would be really surprised.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay. See, with that, yeah. But then again, if we get through them, you've had your biggest competition in round 16. And,
Yeah.
and then
Well, no,
you
but
go
I don't
further.
think our run gets easier after that, even if we
No.
win. I think it would be quarterfinals
it-
is Spain, I think.
Yeah, it would then be Spain in the quarterfinals.
If they get through, that's obviously.
Yeah.
The fuck is on the other side of the seed in North Macedonia?
No, but this is the thing, right? So look at like Spain's group, for example, Poland, Slovakia, Sweden, and then if they were to get through, I think they'd potentially be playing someone like one of either Switzerland, Turkey, or Wales, because they're in a group with Italy. So one of those three is gonna go for. So yeah,
Isn't this
super fucked
partly
up.
why it's actually better for us to finish again, as we did in the World Cup, finish second?
I think
And
it could be.
try
I'm
and get
not.
on the other side of the draw.
I've not got the whole tree in front
Throw
of
the
me.
game against Croatia.
Well, that's dangerous, though. It's
Yeah,
a dangerous game you're playing. Throw the opener.
Joke. We'll beat them.
No, we've got more than enough to beat
Yeah,
Croatia.
no, I think we should obviously go into looking to win every game, you know, and get the confidence rolling, because of course, especially if we lose to Croatia in that first game, Scotland then will be rubbing their fucking hands, regardless of their
They
result.
could knock England out of
Yeah.
their own tournament. Basically.
Exactly. Like it's the sole reason why I did not want Scotland to qualify for this fucking tournament.
Yeah, I'd rather have Israel.
Yeah, same. Like 100%. Because and the thing is, well, you know that they would settle for finishing bottom of their fucking group if it meant that England didn't qualify as well. So it's one of them.
I thought they would do it. Oh no, that's under the new format. Forget it.
Yeah, I agree. But you look at the other way. I mean, we could easily put a mark down that Croatia game.
Yeah.
We win that 3-0.
And then we're in 4.
Yeah. Going to that Scotland game, they're thinking
I think-
they absolutely knocked over Croatia.
I personally think we'll top. I think we'll top that group.
I think we should top
That Croatian
I think
team
we're better,
does not
I think we're better than every other team in it.
That Croatian
Yeah.
team does not scare me. That team is old.
That midfield we can run it. Like so they've got
Even their attackers.
it's
really.
Kovacic, Modric, and Rakitic. I assume will be their midfield three. They're all apart from Kovacic, who I don't think he's that good. Old. Rakitic is 33 now. Modric is 35. You say Perisic must be at 32 by now in the
Oh
winger.
yeah.
It was a-
Mandzukic is retired. I don't
Yeah.
even know who plays up front anymore.
Yeah.
Could you imagine them trying to keep up with Foden?
Oh, but Foden I'd say against anyone in this tournament, if they're keeping up with Foden, they're doing pretty well, to be honest.
Mbappe, that'd be a good race. I want to see that race. We should do that. We should just like an extra point goes to just a foot race, and all the
Okay,
countries.
I don't want Foden in a foot race. Foot race, I'm putting Walker up for England. If you're
Probably,
asking,
yeah, probably.
if you just straight line speed, but with the ball.
We
Foden.
should do like a big competition like that, and then maybe we do like lots of other sporting activities. We do it every 4 years.
Maybe there's one this summer. Maybe.
Maybe there is, yeah, and they have like a torch. That'd be crazy. But yeah, no.
So I'm being pessimistic saying quarterfinals. Matt's saying we lose tragically in the final.
Yeah.
George, what are you saying? How far are England going to get? Just a bit of fun, mate. There's literally no wrong answer to this.
I'm going to go semi-finals again. I think. I honestly think that their last 16 game would be tougher than a quarterfinal against Spain. Personally,
I agree. I mean, I looked at that Spain squad today,
Yeah.
and it is no great shakes.
No, I think if
They've
we
got
got
Alvaro
through,
Morata, for God's sake. He's garbage.
no, I think if we got through against, I mean, realistically, France will top the group, but of course, you never know what might happen. But I think if we got through one of either France, Portugal, or Germany, I would then fancy us to take Spain in the quarterfinal, 100%.
There we go. So,
Come on, England.
we have picked a squad that we don't think is going to win the Euros. On that cheery note, I think we're going to sign off. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you'd have done differently, and well, we'll see tomorrow, won't we? What Gareth thinks. He'll probably disagree with all of us completely, and this will all have been a complete waste of time. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.